Welcome to the Junior Golf Podcast, a podcast dedicated to helping parents and juniors navigate through the journey of junior golf. From fitness to mental coaching, we cover it all on this podcast. Here's your host, Ro Thompson.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Junior Golf Podcast. I'm your host, Ro Thompson. Man, we got a special guest, special guest on the podcast today. Man, we've got Jared, Lott, and JL of the David A. Wall Junior Invitational. Good morning, guys. How y'all doing?
Good morning. All great.
Doing good. How about yourself?
Oh, man, doing great, man. I want to thank y'all for coming on. I've been following the tournament on Instagram. You know, Jared, you've been doing a good job of promoting it, everything on Instagram, and I keep seeing all the posts and everything. So I'm hoping that y'all have a really good tournament in May. But before we get into all the David A. Wall Junior Invitational talk, Jared, give us your background, and JL, tell us a little bit about yourself as well.
I'm going to go first because I ain't got quite as much experience as Mr. JL right here. But yeah, I grew up in Claxton, Georgia, not really playing golf. I was a tennis player, baseball player. Then broke my wrist. I couldn't really play tennis anymore. Decided that I really wanted to try golf. Got a job out at the golf course. Started learning how to chip and putt, putting up carts, and tried to play a little bit on the mini tours. Realized that I didn't have near as much talent as them guys have. But now I just I love playing, and I just really love getting my kids involved and letting them go around and get some of the experience I didn't have. And maybe it takes them to college, maybe it takes them on to their professional life, business-wise or anything like that. But that's, I just like everything that golf teaches for all ages.
Sounds good. And JL, give us a little bit of your background.
I played amateur golf for quite a few years and had some success doing that, enjoyed it very much. And then children came along and they started taking an interest in golf. All sons. And during that period of time, the Georgia State Golf Association wanted to start a junior program.
Okay.
And they had not had one. And in fact, the whole GSGA had been a little, not defunct, but kind of asleep for a long time. And in 1974, we started the junior golf program. And we had 7 sections in the state.
Okay.
And these sections would compete within themselves, and then the top 4 of each of those age groups sections would go to the state tournament and compete there. So it was a real challenge for everyone in South Georgia to try to be able to go play some other golf courses and compete against the Atlanta, the Macon, the Columbus, and those, and to be I guess to brag a little bit, South Georgia would win the state competition most of the time for several years. And so after my boys, they were 5 and 7 and 8 and 10 at the time. Once they got out of junior golf, I thought I wanted to get out of doing this and turn it over to someone else. I've been doing it quite a few years, probably 18 or 20 years. Mm-hmm. And I looked up at one of my junior tournaments at Savannah Golf Club. Had 120 players that day, and the last 2 that got ready to tee off were the 2 worst of the 120. And they came up to me and told me, said, "Mr. Johnny, I'm so nervous, I don't think I can even swing." I realized then that was a very important time for these young people. And I've been involved in junior golf since 1974.
Wow.
I took a sabbatical from Georgia and went to St. Augustine, and I coached college golf there in a Division II school for 11 and a half years. So I came back and played some professional golf, and that's where we are today.
That's awesome. You mentioned the GSGA. We played, even though we're in South Carolina, there was a GSA event over in Augusta at Forest Hills, and my son, I wanted to kind of keep him sharp. We were like in between some tournaments, and he went over there for the first time ever, Forest Hill. You know, we got the warnings that, hey, the greens were a little tough, and my son won the event, shot a 75 over there. First time over there, played
Awesome.
pretty good. And
Yeah.
so that, you know, so when you mentioned GSA, that rung a bell. So that's great. That's great history. So talk to us a little bit about the startup of the David A. Wall Jr. Invitational. Where did all of that come from?
David had been out playing on the Hooters Tour and several other tours.
Okay.
And they were big time tournaments at the time.
Okay.
And he started feeling a little bit funny, different, or whatever, and came home for a while and found out he had ALS, or Lou Gehrig's disease.
Okay.
At that time, he took a pro club job there at Lakeview and had 40, 50, 60, no exaggeration, junior players that he was helping.
Okay.
And he was just Mr. Junior Golf in that whole area, and furthered a lot of young people into playing more junior golf over the years. And as his disease progressed,
Right.
that we named the tournament after David, and there were just so many people that were involved in starting this tournament. There was Carl Chansey, who runs the golf course there, was a big player in it. June Eccles Bennett was one of the first players. Her daughter was involved.
Okay.
Then you take John James. John has been one of those that the glue of the thing has held it together all these years when, you know, other people wanted to take some time off. And Mike Strickland helped financially, as well as one of the big players was Bill Wall, who is David's brother.
Okay.
And Bill is a very laid back person and does a lot of work that nobody ever knows about. He's kind of one of the heroes of the David A. Wall tournament. So, but there were a lot of people that got involved over the years. Ping would come up because they knew David very well, and they would put on a demo day. And then his college golf coach, Ernie Langford, would come and be a speaker at the banquet from time to time. So had a lot of support from a lot of people.
That's good. And this is the 19th year of the David A. Wall?
That's correct, yes.
That's good. So it sounds like it's been a very successful junior tournament. And it sounds like y'all have a format. Is it like a weekend format? It's like Friday, Saturday, Sunday format?
Practice rounds on Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday are the tournament. And we have food on the golf course for the golfers that cook burgers and different things like that. Also for the parents that are there with them. And then have a banquet that night with a speaker. We've got this year the assistant men's coach at Georgia Southern coming to be our, our speaker.
Yeah.
Then on Sunday morning we have a devotional before they tee off for the ones that are there, and it's very well attended too. And we have a minister come in and do that each year, and then they'll play the final round. So it's a community effort. A lot of people get involved.
Yeah, I like the structure. You know, with the banquet, the guest speaker. Georgia Southern's got a good team over there in Georgia.
They sure do. Yes,
sure do. And so, what's the primary objective of the tournament, and who are you trying to help with this memorial tournament?
You want to start that, or you want me to?
I'll speak on the second part of the answer, and I'll let him speak on the first part. So one of the things we do every year is the tournament's there to fund junior golf, and we do a scholarship that is essay based. So it's not, so a senior that's playing in the tournament can get, I don't remember exactly how much it is.
Each one get $1,000.
$1,000. And what it is essay based. So it's not based on play. You know what I mean? It's not the winner of the tournament gets it. That's all decided by a committee, who gets that essay and who gets that scholarship money. And that's kind of what the thing is for, is to kind of just get juniors in, gives them a tournament. Because when this thing started back 20 years ago, there wasn't as many tournaments out there for the junior golfer as there is now. So it was a very big hub for where everybody would come and show off all their skills and play. And then I'll kind of let JL take it over about why it might have started.
Yeah, two scholarships. We give one for a male, one for a female.
Okay.
And like he said, they're essay based. And also some of our goals are, number one, have the children have a place to play, something to do and something to look forward to and something to look back on and say, hey, Jared and I were playing golf not long ago, and a young man, Hunter Brown, came up and said, I just want to tell you guys, the tournament I played that was my favorite tournament playing in, and he's getting ready to graduate from college. He said, I used to play in the David A. Wall tournament. Do y'all know anything about that? We said we were just playing golf and talking about it right then. So a lot of memories go back in the 19 or 20 years that we tried to put this together.
Oh, man,
we can get them off the phone and get them out in the air.
Yeah.
We've been successful.
Well,
Good.
we have multiple different age groups. We have multiple different skills. So, I mean, we have a beginner level.
Okay.
I mean, they're playing 1,000, 1,200 yards for people that are just kind of get into it. Maybe this is the first tournament. So we try to make it to where not only is it competitive, but it's fun. So there's lots of different skill levels, lots of different tee boxes, age groups. You can play an intermediate, you can play an advanced division. So it kind of gives every golfer a chance to play without being like, well, man, I can't beat this person. Well, I mean, we're out there to have fun and give you a tournament you can play in to kind of advance your career in whatever way that might be.
That's good. Yeah, because I noticed that's what isn't that what the GSGA does as well? Have the different,
have a couple of different ages and intermediate and advanced and
intermediate,
stuff like
advanced, right? Yeah, I did notice that. And y'all mentioned earlier about one of the people that actually maybe that ran the tournament for a while. What was the gentleman name again?
We may have been talking about John James.
There you go. Yeah. So give us.
Been the glue of this thing for years and years and years.
Yeah.
He and David were very close.
Okay. Good. And so describe the junior golf as you know, y'all experience with junior golfers. You know, y'all have been around it for a while. You know, JL, you've been around it forever. I know, Jared, you kind of taken on this project. What's been y'all experience like with the game of junior golf?
I'll let you go first.
It's been a reward for me and for my family, because over the years I'd take a van from the YMCA and take 10 or 12 boys to the different events that we would have. And it was fun to listen to them talk and to listen to their experiences. And it was very enlightening to see that when they finished and we were headed back home, after they decided, okay, we're going to eat the Dairy Queen this time, you know, which was part of their day, they would be back there talking about everything in the world except how they played that day. It wasn't, it wasn't death one way or the other.
It wasn't the end of the world.
They lost.
Yeah.
So I would say that, and then the fact that so many of the children or young people wound up being professional golfers or professions and successful in other professions in their life. And part of it was because of the skills they learned from playing golf, not from us teaching them so much, but them learning the rules and knowing that rules are very important. So,
correct.
Yeah.
Well, me and like we were talking about earlier with Corey and Camden, mutual we have. I've only been in this junior golf world for about 4 years. I've got an 8-year-old and I've got a 12-year-old, and they both started playing at the same time. So one of them was 4 and one of them was 8 at that particular time.
Okay.
And so being I like golf a lot, you know what I mean? So just seeing that they would take it up and something they were interested in. I've learned a lot here in the past year and a half, mainly from this guy right here, because he's lived this. I mean, he's got kids that have grown up and played professional golf and went to college and all this. So it's like picking his brain on that. It's not right now. There's nobody handing out scholarships when they're 8, 10, 12 years old. It's a journey. You know what I mean? It's a
serious
process.
journey.
And it's just what they can learn and not as the parent don't beat them up so much. Like, don't take every shot as a teaching moment, whether it's a good shot or a bad shot. And I struggle with that.
Yes.
Because not only am I a coach, I'm a parent too. You know what I mean? And it's like, my kids are always like, well, Daddy, you don't say this to other golfers. You just say it to us. I'm like, and I have to go back and say that. I mean, like, look at that from a parent's side, is that most of the time a coach has a little bit more leeway because they don't have near as much expectations as a parent has.
Right.
So it's like going back and looking and just trying to learn and trying to just sit back and let them play and let them. JL was telling me a while ago, he's like, and he might mention this in a few minutes, like that 24-hour rule, like just let them process it for 24 hours and then figure out what you want to talk about. You know what I mean? Let's go over the round at that point in time. But because emotions are high, whether it's a good shot or bad shot or anything like that, like just let it be.
Yeah.
And just trust the process.
Yeah. You know, Jared, I'm gonna get to JL in a second. You know, one of the things that that helped me along the journey is I had to realize that I wasn't as good as my junior.
Yep.
And, you know, he started beating me 2 to 3 years ago. And I'm like, how can I get so frustrated when I can't even play as good as he does? So
yep.
That kind of helped me a little bit. And, you know, just parents like yourself, you know, helped me through the journey of not being so frustrated. So a lot of times, you know, when we play, I'll just caddy. I'll be 250, 300 yards ahead, just kind of helping find the balls if somebody goes left
yep.
or right. But, you know, it doesn't, because what happens is the first thing that happens when the kids hit a bad shot, they look at the parents' reaction.
Yep.
They want to see if you're mad, and it's not a good thing. So, JL, what's your experience been like? You know, with this junior golf journey? What advice would you give to parents?
We were very lucky when we first started the in '74 with the GSGA.
Right.
That parents weren't allowed on the golf course.
Wow.
And only the 11 and under age group would have a score go along with them.
Right.
But the parent, we tried to get not the parent of that child, but someone else's parent to score that group. That way, they didn't look back and say, "Was that a good shot? Was that a bad shot? Why didn't you look at it? I thought it was a good shot."
Right.
You know, that thing. But if I could give a personal note here, one of my boys qualified for the Atlanta Classic, the PGA event. And he was 19 years old.
Wow.
So go up there and I watch him play, and on the 11th hole on the second day, the fourth day, he was over about a 4-foot putt, and I was just sweating whether he was going to make the putt or not. And I looked at myself and I said, you know what? You're probably going to see another million putts in your life. And if you let this one destroy you, you know, it's going to be a miserable million putts you see from now on. So I tried to put the grain of sand, whether he made that putt or missed that putt, and move on to the next shot. But parents,
did he make it or miss it?
you know what? I don't know.
You don't remember? That's all right. Hey, it's all right.
But those type of things, just learn to realize that one round of golf is not a career. One shot is not a round of golf, you know.
Right.
So,
and JL, tell us about this 24-hour rule you have.
Well, the good thing about it is if it's just you and your son, or you and two sons, you're riding home and you'd say, well, gosh, that was a ridiculous. You would have shot 73, but you missed that little putt on 18. Well, he probably made 4 10-footers that, you know, and bring that up. But the thing, my rule was always to try to say when they get there, I enjoyed watching you play. Man, you were fun to be out there with, like that. Not say another word about it unless they bring it up until the next day, and maybe then do a good, better how. You know, sit down with them later and say, what do you think you did good? I thought you did a lot of good things. And get them to talk about the good things, and then what you could have done better, and what do we need to work on, or what do you need to work on?
Yeah, I love it, man. That's it. And when you think about it, we all love our kids. You know, we love to watch our kids play, and you know, of course, you know, the bad shots and, you know, bad scoring. it's just a little frustrating. But like you said, at the end of the day, you know, we enjoy watching them play. We and even if they play bad or good, we still love them. You know, so
Yeah.
it's like, okay, let it go. It's just going to be all right. And you know, because you see a lot of I've seen some really weird situations on the golf course, and I'm sure y'all have too. I mean, I've got a couple of stories where I had to tell the dads to, hey, calm down. Let the kids play, you know. And I mean, you know, the kids would be crying on the golf course, and I almost had to, in a sense, take up for the kids because the dads were so like in their face on the course. I'm like, guys, we don't really need to be on the course. Let's let them play and let's let them, you know, it's like life, you know, you got to kind of figure it out, you know, while you're on the course. So that's a good, it would be great if the GSGA went back to that and not allowed the parents to be out on the course, right?
Well, you know, and they do, and it's like high school golf today too. Also, parents can go watch, but they're supposed to stay on the cart path or in the rough, away from them, and usually just stay forward of them. But you'll see that one parent that will come up between the holes and say, "Why did you do that?" Or "You need to do this. You need to do that." And the child is trying just as hard as they can try without putting some more emotional strain on them.
Right. You know, my buddy, Justin, what's Justin's last name? Soccer Mountain Jr., Justin Fleming. You know, I had him on my podcast a couple years ago, and he said, bro, you know, one of the things that parents have to realize is the kids aren't trying to make bad shots.
We said that.
We talked about that just a little bit ago.
Right. I mean, that's just golf. You know, golf is hard, you know? So, and that's just what it is. So we got this Memorial tournament coming up, David A. Wall coming up. What are the dates on that tournament again?
May 6th and 7th.
May 6th and 7th. Okay, that's Saturday,
so
Sunday, right?
Round on the 5th, and then the tournament's on the 6th and 7th.
Good. And anything y'all want to talk about as it relates to the tournament? Entry fees, who can play, you know?
Yeah, so we Jill, you talk about one second. I'm gonna pull up all the different age groups right here, just so we can. I'm not gonna speak.
Okay.
We try to have like a 10 and under age group that'll play 18 holes, and it's for the more advanced, you know, 9, 10-year-old, and then we'll have a 10 and under age group that's just starting to play, and maybe they'll play 9 holes.
Okay.
And so, but our 9-hole groups are allowed to have a caddy with them, but above that, they have to, you know, get out there and fend for themselves.
So I'll read it to you off the website right here. We got an 8 and under boys and girls, which is 9 holes, and that would be our developmental age group. It's going to be around 1,000 to 1,200 yards. You know what I mean? Roughly around that, and that's boys and girls 8 and under. If you're first starting out, you want to play in that one. That would be where you do. And then, like JL said, you got a 10 and under boys and the 12 and under girls. That's the 9-hole intermediate. That's 1,800 to 2,200 yards. And then, like you said, you got the 10 and under, 12 and under boys and girls. That's advanced, that you can play 18 holes. And then you just got your normal 14U, and then the 15 to 18. And the 15 to 18 split up 16 and under, and then 18 and under. They're playing the same tee, so they can both compete for the overall championship as well.
Good. Okay. Sounds like you got a good format there. And so how can our listeners follow you guys on social media? Go to your website. How can they find you out?
So you can find us on Instagram. You can look it up, David A. Wall Junior Golf. You can go to you can just Google David A. Wall Junior Golf Tournament. I just did that, and a whole bunch of things pulled up. We're on Facebook.
Okay.
And if you go to Instagram, you can click on our bio, and there's a register link right there that'll take you straight to the website. But it's just David A. Wall or DAW Junior Golf.weebly.com. And that just kind of allows you, the Weebly website allows us to pay online. But it's $70 for all the 9 holes, and the 10 and 12-year-old advanced division that's 18. And then the other one is, I think it's right around $100, $110. So, I mean, very inexpensive for if you're on the junior golf tournaments scene.
Yeah.
You know, the most 2-day tournaments, I mean, they can get up $300-400. I mean, so we're trying to make it very economical. We have a lot of sponsors that kind of help cover the cost. This just kind of helps cover just a little bit of the maintenance and the trophies and all that. And we have first, second, and third crystal trophies for every division, boys and girls.
Okay.
So,
and any ranking points or anything like that?
So that's always kind of a big topic as well. And you've had the junior golf scoreboard on. So this year we haven't really decided. We got a final meeting because, as you know, sometimes strength of field and the course itself length, no matter if you go out there and play lights out, sometimes it might hurt you in the ranking because the course just isn't hard enough to do. So
that makes sense.
That's kind of up in the air right now, to where we want it to where a lot of your top ranked golfers can come play and not have to worry about, well, even if I finish first and shoot 65, it might not help me any. You know what I mean? So we want to make it to where they can just come and play and not have to worry about as much scoreboard and everything like that. Just come, have fun in the tournament, play, try to win, and go about that rank. That's good. All right. And what did the winners get? So they get, we have crystal trophies, for first, like I said, first, second, and third division, first, second, third place. And then we have a putting competition on Saturday afternoon, and Tour Aim has sponsored that. So the winner of that will get the a Tour Aim set up, their alignment sticks, and to set up.
Oh, yeah, that's a nice setup.
Yeah, and all that. So then we have a silent auction for the banquet on Saturday night. So we have lots of different gifts and different things that people give in. We have rounds of golf at different places, signed memorabilia from a lot of different PGA Tour players and different stuff like that.
All right.
And we also, our tee gifts are probably worth the entry fee right there.
Yeah, we give away good towels, like the big, huge golf towels. We've got water bottles, we've got ball markers and stuff like that. So that's a lot of the fees go to basically just giving them items, you know what I mean? And then we let the sponsors carry everything else. That's good, man. It sounds like a great tournament. So y'all, any as we wrap up the podcast, any parting shouts y'all want to? Anything that we may have forgotten?
One thing that the parents particularly enjoy is, once the speaker finishes, this year the assistant coach at Georgia Southern, they'll want to ask some questions about college golf or what he's done in the past as a professional caddy and different things like that. And it's very interesting to everyone to hear the different questions that they all ask, and it's one of the highlights of the banquet that night. Yeah, because I mean, a lot of parents, kind of like me and yourself, that have junior golfers, we want to know what avenues we need to take. Like, what are college golf coaches looking for? Like, are you looking for this tour, this ranking, this? Is it better to play? Is it better to not play? Do I want to worry about my ranking? I mean, so many different things like that. And Daniel, I mean, he's seen it all. I mean, he's caddied professionally. He's played college golf. He's coached college golf. I mean, he's got a lot of insight, you know what I mean, on and seen a lot of things that work and a lot of things that don't work. So it's very good to be able to have somebody like that to bounce ideas off and kind of keep us as parents that have junior golfers on the right track.
That's right. And I just did about a month ago, I did a college golf night where I had about 3 or 4 coaches. I had a guy who runs a program called playcollegegolf.net where you can create resumes to send to coaches. And so, it's very, very important to, to have that, especially have him as a guest where the parents can talk to him and bounce different questions off of him. So that's awesome.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. Well, listen, guys, thank y'all so much for coming on. This has been really great. From the Junior Golf Podcast family, man, we want to thank y'all for being on. We wish y'all the best at the 19th David A. Wall Junior Invitational.
Thank you for listening to the Junior Golf Podcast. You can follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. We hope you enjoyed this new episode, and if you did, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Please share this episode with others who may be interested in this topic. Also, feel free to let us know what topics you'd like to see covered in future episodes. Get in touch in the comments or on any of our social media networks. See you next week for a new episode